It's a good way of looking at it, really, Prime Minister, isn't it? It is like a disease, and we've got to try and find someone who can try and change society's perception on this.
I think that's right. Our thoughts, first of all, are with Ben Kinsella's family and friends the night before the funeral. But we've got to punish and prevent. And I think we've got to make it totally unacceptable to carry a knife. Just like we've done with guns, with bullying, with kicking racism out of sport, it's unacceptable for young people to carry a knife. I've been to Birmingham and I've looked at how we've been pulling young people out of gangs so that they don't get involved in this. I went down to a project in London just earlier this week where 2 young people who had been convicted of using knives were on community payback, and they had recognised that it just did not make sense. They weren't safer carrying a knife, they were less safe. And I think we've just got to get this message across all the time. If you have a knife, you'll be caught. If you have a knife, you'll be prosecuted. If you have a knife, you could end up going to prison or doing a very tough community payback sentence. And that's the message we've got to get across.
But you're equivocal then about whether you actually end up in prison for having a knife. David Cameron said if you're caught carrying a knife, that's it, in prison. And that's the end of it.
I think what people want in the community is prison if you're carrying and using a knife. But if you're carrying a knife, a community payback that's really tough, 60 hours, Friday and Saturday nights, full-time, visible. You're in a sense humiliated by having to come in front of the rest of the community, and the community should choose the punishment. Now that's what we're trying to get to, so that young people know that if they carry a knife, they're going to be caught, they're going to be prosecuted, and they're going to be punished.
But in the meantime, there is an arms race out there. There's probably some fairly innocent kids thinking, well, everyone else got a knife, I'm not going out without one. And to stop that cycle of violence,
but that's the
next to impossible.
That's the message you've got to get across from the earliest years in school. That you're not safe with a knife, you're less safe. And if more people carry knives, the whole community is not safe. And just as it is with guns, and just as it is with bullying, the more it is unacceptable to be seen with a knife, and people say, it's not on, we're not having it, and parents have got to get that message across to their children. This has got to be a very tough campaign to get knives off our streets.
Although London Mayor Boris Johnson has been quoted as saying if his children come across a fight in the street, walk away, don't get involved in it. Is that another way of dealing with it? Is it just sort of let it carry on outside your own door?
What would you tell your kids when
I want visible policing on the streets. That's the most important thing. Look, we've tried to get neighbourhood policing up and running so that there are police there. They're not in the station, they're not in a car, they're on the streets. And I want more visible policing. And when people see the police on the streets and know they can phone them on a mobile phone and get them there quickly, that's going to start to change things. So it's police, community support officers, and of course everybody being vigilant. Report people who are carrying knives. It's very important, because the only way we're going to be safe is if we can get these knives off the streets.
But should I see an incident on the way home tonight, should I intervene and try and stop it happening, or should I risk getting
I think
knifed?
you've got to be very careful, and I think most people now have mobile phones. Phone the police, get them to the scene, get them to take the action that's necessary. It's incredibly important that the message goes out to anybody carrying a knife that you're in danger of being caught, and then you'll be prosecuted, and then you'll be punished.